Hey.
Okay.
After 26 takes.
I know this.
And 92 episodes.
You think we'd be better at this by now?
Nope.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I have. I know we want to get it right into this episode. But I have an update to give you in terms of something that I talked about in a previous episode, which I thought was kind of funny, and it's about my neighbor.
Ooh, the one that shit in the hallway.
Well, the dog shit in the hallway, but yeah,
that too.
She didn't shit in the hallway. I really hope. Well, I guess we don't know. I guess
you don't know.
The jury's still out. It could have been either. But anyway, I came back to Baltimore because I was there for a couple weeks, and we recorded and we had a good time. And I'm back in Baltimore, and I came back and there was a new sticker on her door. And so initially when I came back, I just ran by it. I didn't pay any attention to it, but when I had a moment, I wanted to see what it said. So there's two stickers on her door. There's one that's been there for a while, and it was just like, if there's a fire or something, this is like the pet that we have. So like, rescue the pet, there's like dog about this size. Here's a name, whatever.
And screw her, apparently.
I guess don't rescue her.
Is the new sticker for her?
The new sticker. Also, there's a human resident in the apartment. So now there's a new sticker, and underneath it says, warning, video and audio, or the premises are being recorded, video and audio 24 hours a day. So I'm like, does that mean the hallway is being recorded? There's no device. So I mean, it's like, do you have a sticker on the outside of your door that's warning people that inside is being recorded by, like, I'm thinking like, we talking about Big Brother. I'm thinking like an elaborate security system. Her apartment's probably the same size as mine. You've seen it. It's a 1-bedroom, like 700-ish square feet. It's not a lot of space.
When she comes out of the apartment, check her ankle. Look to see if there's
Is an anklet?
Yeah. That's so weird.
She's on probation? Like,
who records the hallway?
But she's not, like, at least from what I saw, there's no sign of the hallway being recorded. Like, there's not a Ring doorbell. There's
maybe she thinks you were the one that left the present in the hallway.
So now she wants to record just outside her door?
I don't know. She seems a little off. I'm not going to lie to you. If you
know.
Haven't gathered that from the two stories you've told on this show.
Well, and like, I'm wondering, like, doesn't she have full say? Like, she's the only one that, from my understanding, she's the only human resident in that apartment. So doesn't she have full say of anyone who goes in there? Like, I know the landlords or ladies or whoever, like the management, can come in and like do maintenance. But like, it's strange to me that she felt the need to put that sign there when I would assume she has a say of whoever comes in or comes out of the apartment.
I mean, I would want to know if I were on camera.
Unless she just wants to remind herself every time she goes in that she's recording herself.
She seems a little off, I'm not going to lie to you.
So I just wanted to give you that update because I thought you would appreciate it, because I was surprised by it.
Speaking of a little off, we're going to talk about Lady Gaga this episode, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, as you know. Specifically, her HBO special, GAGA Chromatica Ball. I couldn't do that without a fellow fan. We actually, you know what, I'm not going to tell the story. I'm going to let him tell it when he gets on. But his name is Matthew Farrell. We met in 2018. He is from Texas, and he recently just got engaged, which is super cool and really hard to do, I think, in the world of the LGBTQ plus community. So that's a feat in and of itself. But yeah, please welcome to the show, Matthew Farrell. How's that for an intro, by the way? Just
great. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm very excited for you to be here. It makes sense for you to join us for this episode, and we'll get into why a little bit later. But before and this is also, I should just say to our listeners, this is the first time you and Justin have met. This is also a treat.
This is how I meet a lot of your friends.
Yeah, it is. But it's also a treat for our listeners because if you're listening on the day of release, this was recorded the very night before. So Nick is not going to get a lot of sleep tonight. because Dan is currently busy. Dan's our
He
producer.
submitted his thesis though, so congratulations to Dan.
Congratulations to Dan submitting his thesis. Matt, before we start, very important question for you. If you were a fruit, this is a very serious question. What fruit would you be and why?
Well, I'll definitely say a mango.
Okay, have we had a mango?
I don't know if we have, but I also appreciate that everyone always answers with "I'll definitely say." Like
I love that.
Just the link. Just anyway. Sorry. Keep going.
Definitely a mango. It's the most tropical fruit, I'd say, and I would honestly just love to be on a tropical island and catching some rays, not being in the United States.
I love that.
Fair. It's a fair answer.
I love
For
that.
context, I said that I was a pineapple, and Nick has changed his answers frequently, but he's stuck with his most recent one for a while.
You say it like I didn't change my answer twice on like the first 2 episodes. I have stuck with a cherry
I know,
for
but it's
the
important.
last
People need the
91
context.
episodes.
People need the context.
True.
What
As
are we
I
doing,
mentioned,
Nick? Yes.
we're talking about the Chromatica Ball, but before we do, Matthew, do you want to just like talk about how we met? Because it's a really cool story, I think, about the power of fandoms, really.
And I think, and to add on to that question, I know why Matthew is qualified to be on this episode for this specific topic, but maybe you want to add on to that, and either Nick or Matthew can share about that as well.
I think it's the same answer, to be honest,
Great.
but who knows? I don't know if you've heard. Have you ever heard this story, Justin?
I don't know.
Oh,
We'll see.
Okay. Well, sure.
So, yeah, starting off, I mean, obviously a huge Lady Gaga fan. That's how me and Nick met. Saw Gaga multiple times, traveled to different states for her, waited in lines, slept on the sidewalk. It's been a journey being a little monster, let me tell you that. But 2018, I met Nick going to Enigma, the residency. First time
In Las
going
Vegas.
In Las Vegas, yes. And I don't know if it was by accident, but it was weird how they had us line up in the casino, but I wasn't of age, so I was kind of getting kicked off the casino floor. But I was huddled near like the front of the line because I obviously wanted to get front row. And Nick was, I was thinking about it on the way driving home today from work, and he was just standing there, and I don't know if our eyes kind of locked, and we just kind of really not sure how it happened, but
It was
just started
Standum at
talking.
first.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
From
It
my
was what,
perspective,
Standum?
Standum.
Oh, Standum.
Standom.
Scandum.
No, well, so from my perspective, I was of age. I had recently turned 21. So, yes, we were both standing in line. It was about like 3 o'clock, would you say? Because I think they let us start lining up at 5. And there was a guard there, and he kept saying, like, you're going to get turned away if you start lining up. Like, unless you're gambling, you can't be here. You were with your aunt, who, by the way, icon. Yes. I love her. And she was sitting at one of the slots, and I was like, oh my gosh, someone that looks like they're about my age, meaning you. I'm just gonna stand next to them and pretend that I'm with them so the guard doesn't throw me out. Because I had gotten there before, literally, like in the line portion before literally anyone else. And I had been talking to the guard, and when the line started forming, that was when he started saying, like, you can't be here, you can't be here. So when he sent all of us away, I don't remember if I actually ended up doing this or if I wanted to do it or whatever, but I wanted to go up to him and be like, hey, so, like, you and I, like, where do you actually want me to stand to be front row? Like, I thought that we had this bond. We did not. So that was when I started, inching closer and closer to you guys. And then he kicked you out because you weren't 21. Remember, you went over to the House of Gaga Museum and I held your spot.
Yep.
And if you think we're crazy for, standing in line that early for a show, after the show, we stood outside the venue to get a 5-second glimpse of her as she drove away. And we did. But I will
didn't know that. I just have to say this, Nick. I didn't know that the Chromatica Ball was the second time then that you've waited in line. Or I guess that
It wasn't the second time.
Oh.
It was the third.
The third. I thought that was the first time you had camped out.
Oh no, I made Tom camp out with me for the Joanne World Tour, but she wasn't like as much of a peak as she was during Chromatica, so I got there at 9 a.m. and was like fine. Chromatica, I had to get there
24 hours.
Again, Matthew was like the plug for me here because you were the one that texted me and were like, there are people lining up now. It was the day before. It was Thursday and the show was Friday. I was like, you're fucking kidding me.
Wait, was Matthew, were you at the Boston show?
Yes, I came from Texas.
Did I meet you?
Mm-mm.
I didn't? Okay, because I brought food to Nick at one point, and so I'm wondering if we must have missed each other. Okay.
Well, you had regular seats for Boston, right? You had floor for Texas.
For Dallas, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you were Nick's source that people were lining up, but you yourself were not lining up yet.
Correct.
Okay.
How many shows have you been to? Have you been counting?
I think it's 16, and I'm seeing her next month, so it'll be the 17th.
You're going back to Vegas for Jazz and Piano, right? I saw it last summer. It was really good. And it's changed. Like she changes it, as you know, each summer or each leg that she does it. So,
you might be wondering, why is Justin here? Well, not only am I a host of this show, but also Nick and I watched the aforementioned HBO movie
Gaga Chromatica Ball.
Gaga, of course, Gaga Chromatica Ball a week ago. So that's my I guess reasoning for hanging around. I'm sure these two could have had it just as fruitful of a conversation without me. I'll probably be listening more so. But
no. I'm going to bring you in. I want to hear your opinion for every act. But I do just want to say one more thing. Matthew and I have been trying to, like, we keep saying this, like, we will get our moment to meet her. Like, if I ever meet her, like, I'm pulling him in with me and vice versa, in person, I mean. But I have to thank you, and I've said this to you, I've said this to you over text and everything, but I don't think I would, in fact, I would not have interned at Born This Way Foundation had it not been for you, because you sent me the link that you were like, hey, you're in marketing, which was very sweet that you even remembered. And then I applied and I got it. And I had been doing interviews for multiple positions and just not getting them. This one I never thought in a million years I would get. You had worked with Born This Way Foundation a couple years before for Channel Kindness, which was their youth storytelling program. So, and honestly, I don't think I would have the job that I do today had I not had that role. I think they were like, what? They actually asked me in my interview, why do you want to work for a bank? You worked for Lady Gaga. And then I had to spin that and give a bullshit answer. But so thank you. I really owe 100% of that to you. But I digress. We should move on to the Chromatica Ball. So you saw it twice.
The commission you owe him later.
Yeah, right? Literally. Where would you rank this in her shows? Not necessarily the ones that you've seen, but like in person, but like just her tours in general. We can start with that.
I would honestly, it's definitely higher up on the scale. The storytelling within the show was one of her best.
I agree, for sure.
Incredible.
I'm so glad that they included that in the movie, because they didn't do that for the Monster Ball.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. This show, Chromatica Ball, was such a strong return to form, I guess, when it comes to storytelling. Like, Justin, you saw the video or the HBO special. Mm-hmm. What were your were you following? Like, what were you thinking about the show? Like, did you follow the story? It wasn't in plain sight at all. Like, you could also totally just watch the show as a pop concert with no meaning whatsoever and enjoy it that way, and that's also like fully valid, and I think it was designed that way. But what are your thoughts? Did you get like any of what she was trying to say?
Yeah, I'll preface this with, you had told me your review of when you actually went to the show, and like kind of like what the storyline was kind of supposed to be. So I did go into the movie kind of having some idea with that. Obviously not all the specifics, but I could kind of follow. I mean, she starts the show in this like essentially as a statue. She's like standing on this turntable and she's just moving her arms. And then by the end of it, I mean, when she's on the B stage, you can tell she's just enjoying herself. And then by the end, she's just like, just having a good time. So I think like
shimmying,
even though I did it,
shimmying, you're just
shimmying. Like sure, I guess. I don't know. I'm an idiot dancer.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I could definitely see the progression of breaking through or breaking out of something or away from something. Obviously, I think the two of you know the storyline more so what that means, but I could definitely, just as a layperson, kind of see that progression. I don't know if Swifties call it locals. Is there little monster?
I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing. But that was good. That was a good like overview of it, I think.
That was good. He approves. Cool.
I approve. Matthew, you messaged me like on night one. I was like, I'm not watching spoilers, and you sent me. You were like, I'm not telling you anything, but like this intro is not at all what I was expecting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, like what you were expecting and what you thought it was going to be, and what she actually opened with?
Night one of the film or of the show?
Of the show, of the concert, the tour, which was in Dusseldorf.
Yes. Well, I think as fans, we were all expecting, colors and not what she gave at all. I mean, I wasn't really expecting her to open with Bad Romance. Never mind her 3 greatest hits. That was wild to me. And I was pretty much in shock when I texted Nick that night. I was like, this is not the show we were all planning on,
And of course, I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Like, I'm nervous now.
Chromatica itself, before the pandemic, weren't there like lands? Like, there's blue land. Like, I don't know. Like, Nick, I think you were explaining to me that like, each music video was going to be set in like a different world. I'm not fluent in this speak.
That is okay.
Best, I promise.
That is okay. Yeah, there were different tribes of Chromatica. Each one was a different color.
And by 3 greatest hits, we're talking about Bad Romance, Just Dance, and Poker Face. I have the set list up. Don't worry. I don't know this. I'm not.
I was like, that's impressive.
Don't worry.
Matthew, did you end up watching the full show that night? Because you did say to me, you're like, I'm gonna like log off after this. Like, I saw the first song.
I'd like to say I didn't, but I was too curious to see what, I saw Bad Romance, Just Dance, Poker Face, and then I kind of logged off. And then, like, the next day I was scrolling. I just...
Yeah, it's hard.
A rabbit hole, and I was like, I have this data now.
It's hard. If you're a fan of someone and you're on Twitter, you can't avoid spoilers. Like, you have to completely... I deleted all social media, and I got what I needed to know from you. Like, I texted you and said, like, oh, where should I stand? Where is the best place to stand? I got all of my information from you. So you said you were surprised by those 3 songs as the opener. I honestly feel, she called the stage, by the way, for those that are listening, the Museum of Brutality. And the show... she described as a real savage look at what you've been through, and also a journey from darkness to light. So the fact that if the show starts with darkness, the fact that she opened with her 3 danciest, greatest hits, I felt like she was saying something there. Especially given that she was trapped in that, like, Justin, you called it like a statue-looking thing. You can only see her head, like, barely, and she's got... what I thought at the time was a blindfold when I was, at the show. But it's actually like some like metal face gear. I don't even know what to call it, really.
I actually thought she was singing from off stage when that statue, we'll just keep calling it that, like, appeared. I mean, I thought okay, that's probably her, but I didn't think there was a living being in that thing.
Yeah. Honestly, sure. I think that was the point. I think the point was to be as non-human as possible. it had a very voyeuristic feel to me, like almost like she was trapped or tortured or a slave to the image or person that she created, Lady Gaga. That was my take on it.
I completely agree with you. I definitely think that's what she was going for, and she definitely conveyed the message.
I remember you messaging me at one point. You were like, one of these outfits is the best tour outfit she's ever had. I forget which one it is. I think it was the next act. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. It reminds me so much of the Fame Monster and the Monster Ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's the blood stained. I think, did Natalie make that outfit for her, or did she make the jacket that went over?
I don't know what she made for it, but yeah, it was bloodstained. It had like bruising almost.
I remember the meat dress.
Yes, it reminded me a little bit of
that was in my opinion, that was the first costume. That was the first outfit, because you go from the statue, that we're going to keep calling it that, to that. And not only that, but we're talking about Act 1 now, right? When she's on that table and kind of just like
laying there for Alice.
Yeah. Like,
should we say for listeners, there's a prelude act, like a before Act 1, which is Bad Romance, Just Dance, and Poker Face. We're now talking about Act 1, which is Alice, Replay, and Monster.
There are 4 acts and then a finale as well.
Yes.
Just for an overview.
Yes. What did you think of Monster at the show? That was kind of a surprise.
It definitely was a surprise, and I did not think she was going to perform that song, but it really felt like, I would say it actually fit in to the whole aesthetic that she was going for.
One thing I want to say about Monster, and maybe this is something that everybody who psychoanalyzed the show as much as I did, already knows. Maybe this isn't as, mind-blowing as I think it is, but during the bridge, when she's lowered, not lowered under the stage, but like her dancers maul her, exactly like what happened at the Monster Ball. So I thought that was brilliant. I wrote an essay about this show, and I called it her most brilliant stroke of genius, because alluding to so during the Monster Ball tour in 2011, she was absolutely referring to her sexual assault when she's in high fashion and she goes down into the stage and gets shot up and she's got blood all over her. In this show, very similar, but she actually starts, as we mentioned before, with the blood. I think what she was trying to say here, and I just thought this was absolutely genius, when she shoots up the second time, she's still got the blood on, but then she's got high fashion over it. I think the whole point of that was most likely she never got to process that assault. She was assaulted and then she became famous. Like, it was very close together timeline, so she never had time to process it. I think she was pointing to this, this whole thing being, yes, it was a tragedy that she was assaulted. It was also a tragedy that she never had time to heal from it. She was just shot to stardom and then performing broken. So underneath all of this high fashion, which was still very much her, I hate when people say, oh, that's like underneath it, that's like the person, like all the glitz and the glam are for show. Like, yes, they absolutely are for show, but a lot of that is the point. It's an extension of her, but I digress. I thought that was the coolest part of the entire show. That's really, I rest my case. I could be totally wrong. But I thought that was so cool.
Do you share that take, Matthew?
I actually didn't think of it like that. You kind of just opened my eyes to what you just said, and now that you said that, I can't see it any other way, actually.
Oh, I love that. That makes me feel so good.
And I really can't say what I thought of it before. I just, thought she was alluding to the Monster Ball. I thought she was trying to, recreate that in a sense. So,
and I think
I really like
she was. I think she was. Absolutely. There's no way she wasn't.
Yeah.
Can we talk about 911? I love that song, and I texted you, Matthew, I think before the song came out, when we saw the track list, and I was like, this is going to be my song. Like, I can already feel it. Mm-hmm. And I think did you agree?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Do you still hold that sentiment? Like
I
what?
I still think 911 is my favorite song on the album.
It's so
Absolutely.
good. It's so good.
It's
Justin, do you have any thoughts on it?
Um, enjoy this song.
um,
um, I had other favorites, but I do enjoy that one.
what are your favorites? If you pull
I
up
mean,
the track
I
list
need
right
to
now,
pull up the track list.
I'm
Yeah.
very curious what your favorites are. We can all go around and answer this. I think I already did, but
I'm on Gagapedia right now.
Supreme.
Why?
I got some of the graphics for this poster, or for the poster for this episode from Gagapedia, so
That's awesome.
shouts out to them.
I'm obviously biased to Sign from Above because Ryan Tedder helped write that, and I love Ryan Tedder. Stupid Love, I said I like. Let's see. This is I remember saying this, and you were like, "Really?" But I really like Enigma. I don't know why. It's just like and that was included. I think that was included in the show, wasn't
It
it?
was.
Act 4, Act 3?
Yeah, the end of Act 4.
The end of Act 4. So like, I don't know. I liked that song. Although after watching the show, I think Babylon is reaching.
That's another one that I don't really love. Not that I don't love it. It's just like there are better songs on the album for me, but I'm definitely.
It was a cool start to Act 3.
It was.
With the gold costumes and everything.
For sure. And I am definitely in the. No, you're okay. I'm definitely in the minority there. Matthew, do you like Babylon? Like,
I would say, yeah, that's one of the better songs for me. Also, Fun Tonight has really grown on me.
Me
For
too.
some reason, after seeing the show in person and watching, it on HBO, David was always blasting that song, and I'm just like, well, I don't know what you singing that song, and now I finally get it now. It's really good.
So I actually liked that song when it came out on the album, but hearing it on the tour where she starts it on the piano and then it becomes like she jumps off the bench of the piano and is jumping, and you can see all of the lights and the bracelets. She does the bracelets like Taylor Swift does for the Eras tour, all going up and down. That was really cool. Yeah, I'm still though 911 and Rain on Me. Alice too. We haven't really said much about Alice, but that's a great song too. But Fun Tonight, for those that aren't familiar with the song, is basically about being in a fun environment and just being absolutely unable to enjoy it. Like you're just in a grave depression, or just, you can't pull yourself out of it. And yeah.
I also appreciated when she started, and again, we're jumping ahead, but when she started, she did her little speech before Fun Tonight. She specifically talked to the people in the audience, at least in the show that HBO recorded, to the people, acknowledging that there might be people, even though she's having a blast up there, there might be people there in Dodger Stadium right now who are not having a good time for whatever reason, might be guilting themselves for not having a good time. And just acknowledging that, like, this song, I wrote this song when I was in your shoes, and like, see if you can take something from it or whatever. But like, I also I like that she brought that up at a really fun concert too, because that sounds like the whole reason why the song was even written in the first place.
That's the whole vibe of Chromatica, really. It's dancing through the pain, really, the darkness. Yeah, I really liked that. You mentioned, Matthew, that Act 3 you think was your favorite, which is Babylon, Free Woman, and Born This Way.
Yeah. I think what she did with Free Woman, I didn't think any of us were expecting her to walk, through the crowd and to be really interactive during that time because of, COVID and what the world was going through in that moment. But I think it was really cool that she connected with her fans in that sort of way. And I knew it was kind of a mystery because we saw the B stage and we're like, how is she going to get over there? And, on her previous tours, like she had like those panels that dropped from the sky and she'd go over the bridge. And so we were just all kind of curious to see what happened. And I know Twitter was on the night that it opened, they were like, how is she getting over there and all this stuff. So when she walked through the crowd, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was not. Were you close to that part of the stage? Like when she walked through, I wasn't.
For the Dallas show, I was. I was on the right catwalk, barricade.
So like, were you really close to her?
Hmm.
Wow, that's cool. I was like center. Like if you're facing the stage, I was to the right of center. So like, I wasn't close enough to the catwalk um, for her to walk by me. But I'm looking at a picture right now. Of her walking through the crowd. She has, I noticed this too while I was watching the show. She has China next to her, the dancer, and Ian and Victor next to her for most of the show, which I thought was really cool because those are the dancers that have been around the longest.
Dancers, yeah.
This is just, we can cut this out or not, but do you have a favorite dancer? Just like, we're going way into the weeds now, but.
I honestly, I miss Kevin.
Is that the
Justin,
one I liked?
Yeah, Justin, you liked
I
Kevin.
Woo!
Justin trades in his local card for a Stan. He punches his Stan card. Yeah, I liked Kevin too. I follow Kevin. Kevin's hot.
And he is very hot. And I know we met Montana at Enigma. Remember that?
Yeah, she waved. Did Montana wave to us? I thought Sloan. I mean, you went to more shows than I did. I think it was both.
I don't know if it was the night after you left or something, and I don't know.
remember.
Did you meet Montana that night we waited for Gaga? Or was that somebody? I don't know. I think it was somebody else.
Well, you went to multiple shows, so I might not have been at that one. I remember we saw Sloan walking her dog. We might have seen Montana too, and we saw Cynthia.
Yes.
But, and didn't you met did you meet Peter, her bodyguard, at one of them, or am I dreaming that?
I met him. I saw him. I don't think I said hi.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're saying met like we had conversations with these people. They looked at us and forgot about us. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. I felt like, getting back to walking through the crowd, that felt like this tour, especially the way she talks about it, feels like a coming back to her fans. Not that she ever left, but like being able to enjoy it again in a healthy way, which was really cool to me. But let's move on. She gets to the, I call this the act that like the non-fans love, because it was shallow. Always Remember Us This Way, which is a deep cut, but it's from A Star Is Born, so people do tend to know it. The Edge of Glory. My show in Boston was, you got both. You got 1,000 Doves and Angel Down, right? Because Angel Down was added after Boston. Was Dallas after Boston or before?
It was right after. Yeah, it was right after.
Okay, so do you want to talk about that for a second? Didn't you have to like rush back? You raced her there.
Pretty much. I think I beat her there.
Yeah. No, that was crazy.
I went to Boston, stayed there, saw the show, left the next morning, and then there was one day in between. I got back that same day, drove all the way to Dallas, which was a 7-hour drive, and then the show that night. So it was.
That's wild.
Yeah,
was it worth it?
Absolutely. I didn't like how they had like the VIP, and
there were a lot of VIP
because they were basically selling the VIP as general admission. So everybody was, obviously people were lining up, and it didn't matter if you had, early entry or regular GA. So
that was hard.
I still waited in line for 6 hours, and I wasn't where I wanted to be on the floor, but I can give that to, the next person that, never seen her close. So, it makes me feel better that, some other person could experience her that close up too.
That is sweet, because here I am thinking in my head, isn't that the worst feeling when you wait that long and then you're not holding the barricade at the runway? Like, we were complaining.
It was like those bitches.
Not to out us. But I remember when we got to Enigma, you and I were on the outside of the runway, and we were like, oh, what the fuck? Like, we wanted to, like, get in, like, to where the main stage was. I remember complaining about that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're holding the barricade, so, like, can't, complain too much.
We can't complain.
And I ended up getting barricade just because there was an old woman who didn't, do you remember she didn't even make the show? I felt bad. She was with her grandson and like she was standing there on the floor and then she
This
left.
unlocked like a memory for me. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Can we just talk one? I know we've talked about Fun Tonight a lot, but she talked to every show about the porch story. And how Blood Pop, who was the producer of Chromatica, he's also done what else has he done? I think he did Sorry, right? By Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Am I wrong there? What else has he done? I'm blanking. Anyways, she talked about this story about how her previous album, Joanne, was written to heal her dad, who lost his sister named Joanne when she was 19, when Joanne was 19. So they were kids. She toured, successful album, did the Super Bowl with it, toured it, gets home, complete silence. She wasn't able to heal her dad, so it felt like a massive failure to her. And ended up chain smoking on her porch, basically unable to get up. Like, not physically. Well, also physically. She has, fibromyalgia, thank you. But, yeah, so that was, like, the starting point of Chromatica, really, was her chain smoking on her porch and Blood Pop, coming over and be like, come on, we gotta go write music, like, because I'm assuming she had a deadline. Like, it is her job. Yeah. I don't know how strict the music industry is with big stars like that. Like, I'm sure they probably are like, they're not going to drop the artist, obviously, the record labels. But that was, really cool to hear. That's how she got from, that was that dark place that we talk about, that we mentioned earlier.
I thought it was cool to just see her on the B stage, and just like interact with the crowd more. Not that she was doing that throughout the entire show, but like it was a production on the main stage, and then this felt more intimate.
This was the light that she was talking about.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a common reflection on Act 4 of the show. But let's move on to the finale. So these were the two singles from the album, Stupid Love and Rain on Me.
Begins with a sonnet.
It begins with a sonnet,
and
yes.
Goes into Stupid Love and Rain.
The HBO special made me like this act so much more. You can hear her more on the recording, and I don't know if it was because you can't hear the fans as much, but also on YouTube you can hear the playback more. I don't know. I've just always found it. I've always thought you can't really hear her singing. It sounds like the CD track, and obviously she never sings live. Hold on. Obviously she always sings live
all the time.
Yeah, no.
She's never sung live ever.
She's given full speeches about how she never ever lip syncs, but on YouTube the phones pick up the backing vocals, and in person it sounded great. But yeah, you could really hear the mic feed on the recording, which was cool. I also love, I think it's it's both cute and iconic how she introduces the band, and then she's like, and then at the end of that she's like, and I'm Gaga. Like, that's really cool. Like, that gives me chills every time. Speaking of a return to form, like, she literally she verbalizes it there. The fireworks also. What did you think? I'll let you talk. Sorry, I just go off on these tangents because I get excited about it. You're like, he's still talking.
Got 5 more stanzas after this.
God, this man is gay.
Happy Pride.
Yes.
Justin is a loud and proud ally, guys.
Here I am.
I love that for him.
Waving my flag.
Woo! That was loud. I'm so sorry. Sorry to the eardrums. There's not a ton to say about this one.
There really isn't. The fireworks was a nice touch. I wish she honestly did that at every show.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she couldn't because some of them was inside and some of it, was. She didn't do any arenas, but I think
she didn't. But some European, yeah,
and inside of an enclosed space, but she couldn't really do that.
Right.
But the fireworks was a great touch. Stupid Love, I love that song. I was expecting her to do it, earlier in the show when I first,
Me too.
started. But I see what she did now, and I think it closed the show, and it was meant for the finale. So
I
I
agree.
think it was.
And it also transitions out of Enigma, which if I'm not wrong, was the first. I think Stupid Love was the first song that Blood Pop pitched to her, but I'm pretty sure Enigma was the first song they like wrote for the album. She obviously co-wrote Stupid Love too, but I think she said somewhere that Enigma was like the heartbeat of the album when it first started.
Yeah, she teased Enigma like on an Instagram post,
Yeah,
like
I know the one.
exactly.
And
like
it's
was she on
scary.
a plane or something?
Yes, yes. The
Yeah.
fact that we both remember that is kind of like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because that is literally just an Instagram post from 2019.
Yeah.
That reminds me,
Ask
you know that
anything
meme
else, I
that,
can't remember, but ask me what Gaga posted in 2018, and I'll tell you.
that reminds me of the meme. It's like, you saved my life, and then the thing that saved them life back is like, I'm literally just and then it's like an album or whatever. I'm literally just a post from 2019. Yes. So I think I noticed that too, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. It kind of they're meant to be together, I think. And of course, Rain on Me too, because it was the single from the album. Like, it was the biggest single from the album. So it made sense that she closed with it. And then Hold My Hand too. Justin, when we were watching, you were like, what is the encore if she does Rain on Me, if it's not Rain on Me?
Yeah, upon reflection, Hold My Hand kind of felt like, even though she does this physically, but it felt like a bow to the audience afterwards. Just in terms of the energy vibe, because you go from way up, and then it felt like Hold My Hand it's not like low energy song, but it's like you're sloping down.
It's a ballad.
It's definitely more ballad. So that felt like
Power ballad, but
it felt like she was taking a bow to the audience, which felt then appropriate for the encore song for me.
I agree. I wrote in the it's very short, but Hold My Hand is nothing short of a victory lap, a real Iron Maiden's final bow of the night. Equally so, it serves as reassurance to fans who wonder, sometimes silently, at the end of every album cycle, is this the end? The artist signs off, good night. Thank you for holding my hand all these years. Even though my hand's a little different, she holds her articulated, extendable monster paw fingers high in the air for 37,000 hands to match. This was the Boston show. And then she says, I'll always hold yours. Which, in a sense, is exactly what Justin just said. Why I had to repeat it, not really sure. Do we want to do a little, like, speed round, like Gaga, like, favorite song, favorite something to end this?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
All right, rattle them off.
All right, favorite song.
Would say Paparazzi.
Justin.
Shallow.
You're not beating these locals accusations.
Shut the fuck
up. Mine is Rain on Me. I feel like I'm like, I want to say Judas, but both. Okay. Favorite look.
You're picking a single. It's not like you're picking a deep cut.
I know, that is true.
That's my
true.
defense.
That is true. 911 is up there too, so that's, and John Wayne. Neither of those are singles in the U.S.
Yes.
So John Wayne slaps. It's on Joanne. Go listen to it. Anyways, favorite look.
She's had so many. I don't know why I always come back to this one, but it's not a red carpet. I would say the Art Rave opening number.
That's one of my favorites too. Do you want to describe it for people that are?
So it's made by Versace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a gazing ball by Jeff Koons, blue gazing ball, and it's like a gold rhinestoned, bedazzled leotard, one piece, and she has these big golden wings. And that was the first time I seen her, so it's a really special outfit to me.
That was the first tour that I was on the floor, so same.
Yeah.
Very one of my favorites. Justin,
Joe Calderone.
you love Joe Calderone.
I'm obsessed, and I don't know why.
Wow.
It's so funny. Do you want to just tell that story real quick about? As I said, this was going to be a speed
I saw the
round.
performance. It was the VMAs. I saw the performance, or was it the VMAs?
2011. Yep.
Yeah, I saw the VMAs. I guess 2011. I was like, what, 6th grade or something like that, and I was just like, who is this person? I didn't realize it was her. I was like, who is this person? Just coming up on stage, smoking, like, and then then she went into it, and I was like, I don't know. I was just fascinated by it. And then the music video came out for, what was the song?
You've got this. You and I.
Wait, You and I.
I said you've got this, and then I
You've got
immediately
this.
gave it away.
You just give me the answer. And I don't know. I was just like, wow, like she's her own partner. Like, I don't know. I was just the whole. I can't really explain it. I was just enamored by it. I was like, this is something.
I love that.
And it still sticks with me.
My answer has to be, I think, the purple leotard from the Monster Ball, the leopard print. Not even the jacket with the the exaggerated shoulder pads. That's cool too, but with she calls it the piss blonde. It's piss yellow, but it's peroxide blonde, I think is what she called it. Wig. Just that is one of my favorite outfits of all time. Not the rhinestone one that was that? No, that was Armani, I think. The rhinestone version. She had a green one for the Grammys that was similar that year, but I'm talking about the latex one that she did most of the tour with. That one was really, really cool. To this day is one of my favorites. Okay, favorite music video.
That's also a very hard question.
It's really hard. I have 3.
It's almost benefits me because I don't have as much data.
Yeah.
So I'm just like.
Yeah. I would say, as of right now, today, because it changes a lot. 911.
For some reason, I'm saying this one because I've seen a few, but this one came to my head when we first were thinking of questions. The Edge of Glory music video. I just liked, like, I don't know, like she's in an alley and then she comes out of a window. I don't know. It's just like a weird.
It's a tribute to her grandfather, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, he had just passed away. Yeah.
Very New York. Is that what you said, Matthew?
Yeah, very New York.
Yeah. I like that. And she's like on the fire escape, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I remembered that. Really.
That's impressive. That was honestly such a fun time to be a fan, though, I must say. Born This Way was really something. She gave us literally everything. Anyways, my favorite music video for the storytelling, I have to agree with you, Matthew. 911 is just. I remember watching that and being afraid when I first watched it. Like, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna get canceled. I didn't even know what was gonna happen. Like, it was just that, like, very fearless, like, what the hell is she doing? It's so good. It's so good. There's so many, and I love, Justin knows this, I love a plot twist in movies. So the plot twist in that movie in that music video, let alone having a plot twist in a music video, is just crazy in and of itself. That was great. Last and most important question. If Lady Gaga were a fruit, what fruit would she be and why?
A dragon fruit, in my opinion.
I almost said that.
I did too.
Whoa.
That's wild. Why would you say
she has to be that?
She has to be now. Why?
I think it's because just the way the way it looks on the outside. I mean, it's crazy, but then you're expecting it to go. When you cut through it, it's supposed to be like crazy, but it's like a soft and. I don't know what I'm trying to say, honestly.
I do, because it sounds like you're.
The vibe.
I know exactly what you're trying to say, because it sounds like you're literally reciting the words, the lyrics of Sour Candy. So I don't think you could have picked a better fruit, honestly. And the fact that all 3 of us were thinking it, like, I want to see our faces when you said it, because we all were kind of like.
I was thinking
But
that or starfruit, and I feel like that explains itself.
Yeah.
absolutely.
A star fruit is born.
A starfruit is born.
I love that. All right. Well, that was really fun. Matthew, thank you for being on. Like I said, it only made sense to do this episode with you. So
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
of
It was
course,
a really
thank you for joining. When LG7 comes out, maybe we'll give you a call. We might have to do this again.
I mean, I'm so down. I'm ready.
Oh, one more thing before we end this. Predictions for the album title. Do we have any? I don't have a prediction, but I'm curious to see like what you think.
I really don't have a prediction yet. I mean, I want to say I have a prediction for what the lead single is going to be, but we're probably all wrong, so I don't even want to say it. But probably, Shadow Moon, Dance in the Shadows, something along those lines. And there's this whole theory that she's releasing on the full moon on June 21st. So we'll see how true that is.
We shall see. With that, my name is Nick Gervasi.
And I'm Justin Dew.
You can reach us at our email, pointofdewpodcast@gmail.com, and on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok at Point of Dew Podcast, and X, or Twitter, we call it Twitter, at Point of Dew. If you enjoy our show, make sure to follow the podcast and give us a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts, or share us with a friend or family member. We really appreciate it and are truly grateful for your support. As always, we hope you have a great 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and until next time, H.